Hello and welcome. Good evening. It is I, your friendly neighborhood Prax. Welcome to the channel. It is a Wednesday night. That means right now it's time for some Zweihander, the long retreat. And we are going to go around, let everybody say who they're going to be, who they playing, and all that good stuff. Sorry, excuse me. You'll notice that we are short a Billy for the moment. Billy will be joining us in the near future. Commuting is such a hassle. I get to go first because I'm still talking, and then we'll end with the wonderful GM for the evening because that's not me tonight. It's great. I don't have to sit in that seat. I'm just here to have fun. And I get to have all the fun because I get to play Nethra Fusefire, our dwarven artillerist, I guess, slash sniper, we've determined, because that's a thing that she did last week. And her pronouns and mine are both she, her. And so we're going to drop down to Laura. Hello, Laura. Welcome back. How you doing? How you feeling?
Doing good. Had a little bit of time there just to put in that last little thing I got with my XP from last session, so that was nice. I will be playing Gisela Haberman, who is a Godsworn of Sigmar, magic and a big hammer. So that's a lot of fun.
That is a lot of fun. Magic and a big hammer. Even if you are, sworn to Sigmar, it's fine. We appreciate you.
Hey now.
Next up, hey Pope, how are you? How you doing? How you feeling? How's life?
Doing well, very glad to be here. Glad to be here this Wednesday evening with all these wonderful people. Getting to play Aldar Ravenheart. Both of us use he, him pronouns. And it's just nice, instead of being a cantankerous old human, being a cantankerous old dwarf. It makes all the difference in the world. So yeah, though I am looking forward to what I have been delightfully dreading as we come back, because there is great value in having a prisoner and great trouble.
I mean, technically we have two.
Probably won't for much longer. It'll be fine.
That's true. Brings us to the GM for the evening. Hey Tom, how you doing? How you feeling? How's life going for you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm very excited to be here. I'm Tom. I'm the GM. I'll be playing everybody else, including this prisoner that y'all just got.
I mean, technically we have two. Technically we have two.
Technically you have two, but like one of them can't really talk because of a collapsed, punctured lung and isn't going to be around much longer.
That's fair.
because Nethra apparently is a sniper. So yeah, that kind of brings us to, if we want to jump right in, we can just hop right back into our group having been stationed at a field hospital during a brutal civil war in the Daedric Empire, was given a gopher task by the Reverend Sister, who maybe saw Nethra maybe just as more trouble being around than not around, quite possibly, and sent them to fetch some herbs that she was running low on from the local town as she was attempting to treat a abbey full of wounded soldiers. The group got the list. Gisela looked it over and found something a little weird about it. Like, it wasn't your traditional medical list, though some of them had some loosely medical properties to them. You all went and talked to the captain, Captain Hartman, and Eldar massively expanded the scope of the requisition mission here, and managed to get it funded by the military, as the captain gave you all, I actually forget how much money the captain
10 silver.
10 silver. You guys are rolling in dough. And you all started making your way towards the small little village of Herrenset. and it's about a half day's travel from the Abbey. You all weathered the sweltering summer heat very well, and then ran into an enemy patrol as musketry filled the air, and you all fought a very brief skirmish with an enemy that ended in all of them, well, all but 2 of them dead, one of them currently on their way to the Gardens of Moor, one with a severely messed up shoulder, on one knee, having asked for mercy and been granted it by Gisela, I believe. Was it Gisela, or was it
Gisela has no
Eldar?
mercy.
Yeah, I've got them at sword points. There's one that ran off.
Oh, you're right. One did book it. One went to help the officer and then booked it.
No, I thought we had one that the guy who went to help the officer we still have because
He took off running.
he ran.
oh, and he left
He
he
took
dropped
one
the
look
gun,
at the
which is
officer,
why I
realized
said
it was
which I have
hopeless,
he dropped the gun, which is why I have both guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he dropped the gun. The weapons, their weapons were dropped on the ground. You did recover one of the weapons. It appears from when you saw this, these appeared to be wearing the livery of a kingdom in the northeastern part of the empire, known as Hockland, which is one of the 2 major, like, when it comes to gunpowder, one of like the major sites for gunpowder to be created, and also really well known for their weapons handling and their weapons. And it does appear that they dropped some sort of rather advanced multi-barreled weapon on the ground with that. And we're going to jump back in, Aldar, as the smoke of the musketry is still kind of floating on the summer's day. There's not much of a breeze. It's hot. The smell of spent gunpowder, the sound of the captain who took an arrow to the lung gasping. I'm going to need everyone who is not somehow shielded from the effects of violence, mentally speaking, like through a feat or through a trait, is going to roll a stress test for me, which is a resolve plus 10. And I just need to know if you fail this test. As you take that moment to breathe, and the reality of the skirmish that you just fought in kind of settles in, and the violence that just took part kind of settles in.
Which of the 2 scores?
You're rolling with resolve, which is in your willpower.
Mm-hmm.
And you get to add plus 10 to the target number because it is a stress test, which is not terribly difficult. So we'll go around. Nethra, how did you roll?
Oh, success.
Success. Eldar?
I'm indifferent.
Oh, you're indifferent. So you are shielded from this. Gisela, I believe you are also indifferent.
Also indifferent. Yeah.
So the Eldar and Gisela being frontline veterans, having the trait indifferent, meaning they don't have to roll when it comes to violence, gore, or
visceral scenes of death.
Visceral scenes of death. Because,
Mundane horror.
yeah, because they've been there, done that. Billy, how did oh god, I'm forgetting your character's name already. Oh no, it's already
Remsaw.
happening. Huh?
Remsaw.
Remsaw. How did Remsaw do in this one?
51 out of 61. So
All right, so you're all right. Everyone succeeded. Eldar, you are standing over this this person. He is appears to be, he has a weathered look to him. He's been at this for, he's not a new recruit. We'll go with that. He's definitely he's got that skin, the skin of someone who spent a huge portion of his life outdoors. Brown hair, a little bit of like wrinkles around the eyes. He's holding up his left hand. His right arm is kind of hanging loosely, like something up in the shoulder collarbone area isn't resting correctly, as he's sitting there being like, whoa, all right, fight's over.
Yeah, it is. Give me a second, fella. We'll make sure that you're tended to.
Yeah, he looks at he kind of looks around and says, "We're all professionals here, yeah."
Yeah, speaking of which, Gisela, want to take
Yeah.
a look at that? Them there, Captain. See if you can give them a hand. If not, give them the Emperor's mercy, would you? Don't
I mean,
need
that-
somebody lingering.
That's the only hand I'm gonna give him. He tried to shoot me.
We're professionals. If, like, they're not going to really be much of a fight. Make certain that, like, again, if we can take a captain alive, that's a good thing.
I think being professional means something different to you than it does to me. I'm gonna go over to the captain and rifle his pockets and see if I can find orders or something.
All right. Roll me a. Hold on. Let me pull that up. Sorry, just what the captain has. Go ahead and roll me. What check are you looking for here?
I don't know. I didn't think about that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it sounded like you were looking for something in particular.
No.
Yeah.
Scrutinize?
Just roll me a general. Let's roll a general scrutinize check here.
Makes sense. It's about seeing if I recognize anything's good. Okay. That is 29 under 56.
All right, you find let's see. Let's start with you find find four silver coins.
Excellent.
You find you do find a set of orders, written orders. As you're doing this, the captain is like still alive, is kind of like reaching up and looking at you.
How badly injured does he look?
Roll a
I thought you were going to say, how badly alive does he look?
roll me a heal roll to determine how far gone she is.
Okay. So you're all gonna guilt me into healing this person.
I mean, you could just take corruption
Why would I need to take corruption?
for being a terrible person.
I am cleansing the realm of the enemy. It is within what the God Emperor wants of me. All right.
I thought Sigmar was a little bit better than the Emperor.
He was the God Emperor.
What'd you
He
roll?
was the Emperor, and now he's a god, and he's the Emperor of the gods. It's a very cool thing. I'll have to tell you the story sometime. I rolled a 75.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's a big old fail.
You don't see any way to make this better. You've seen wounds like this before, and approximately, and they always die.
Yeah. No, I think this one's not long for here.
Then make it quick.
All right, I'm gonna hammer him in the head. I'm gonna make it quick.
Yeah, you finish her off pretty quick.
Delightful.
We won't linger on it, but there was no saving her. She had a very serious, grievous injury which required surgery to fix, and she would have died within a day, basically. So you see the captive just kind of looks over, sullen, but doesn't seem like overly torn up by this, as he kind of turns back and says, yeah.
Again, give us a second, fella.
You got it. I'm just gonna sit
Remsol-
down right over here.
Yeah, don't run.
No,
Just trust me. Nethra will make sure that you will hurt if you run.
he shifts uncomfortably. Like I don't think I'm gonna be going anywhere.
Good. Remsto, will you give me a hand policing the bodies here? Also, while we put them together, if you find any copper, don't bother taking it. Put 2 over each of the eyes. And if there's no eyes to put them over, put them in the hand. We're freaking professionals here.
He'll have an inquisitive look, like he doesn't quite understand, but he kind of does at the same time, and do that.
I'm not gonna make you roll to find that. Like you take the time to. Do you want to describe how you do this? I mean, like, so we're putting coins over eyes, coins in palms.
Yeah, it's gathering them all together, putting them in repose respectfully, because we don't have time to bury them or burn them.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't send them off proper, but again, ritualistically, make sure that they have something for the ferryman. And then also, again, properly police the bodies, take the weapons that are interesting, take the coin that's worth something, leave the rest.
So, in looking for this, first of all, roll me a scrutinize check to find coin.
All right, that's an 8 under
Ooh,
a 49.
Woo! All right. So let's start with you find 10 in addition to what you put in the eyes. You find 10 brass pennies between them. You also find about a total of after the officer another 2 silver coins. Each of them was carrying what it comes out to be the equivalent of a mortuary sword.
All right.
Several of them were so 2 of them were carrying those Hochland rifles that I sent you, the repeating rifles.
Mm-hmm.
The rest were carrying there it is. The rest were carrying hand cannons, which are basically like long guns, not quite of the quality of like the like basically like matchlocks or something equivalent of that.
How bad off is our camp right now in terms of armory? I know the captain was saying that the pay truck hasn't come in, but I don't know if we've been getting supplies. I remember you said last time we've sent out a couple of companies of men. How are we doing?
The camp itself is not particularly well supplied. You guys found about the equivalent of like 4 mortuary swords. There'd be like 2 hand cannons and then 2 of the repeaters. The officer had a very nice dueling pistol. Actually, I forgot to throw in. So the officer had a nice dueling pistol if somebody wanted to write that one down. You also find after that fight, you managed to find about 15 decent cartridges of powder and 15 shot.
I'll be taking a bunch of that because I've got this really nice thing, and she's standing there with the repeater rifle that's probably about the same height as she is.
It's big. It's a nice one too. It's got that wheel lock that is the work of the dwarves of the northeastern kingdom, which is separate from the empire, the Darmor. Very heavily subterranean, very heavily dwarven, some humans, some ogres living there also. Renowned for craftsmanship and forge work. They make really nice like mechanical stuff, and their wheel lock weapons are excellent. So this thing fires in the rain.
All right. Now, fella, now that that's dealt with,
Yeah.
name and rank, please.
Name's Jacob. Jacob Lugar. Skirmisher in the Hochlander Rifles. In elite-ish units, though. Cal looks over. This wasn't. You didn't catch us on our best day, apparently.
Well, you may call me Aldar. How old are you, Jacob?
Seen north of 30 summers?
All right. To put perspective on things, I'm 125.
You got me by a couple there.
Yeah. What were you and yours doing this far south?
I mean, you said we're professionals, right? I'm part of a free company. You're part of a free company. I tell you what I know, and you let me walk, right? Like professional courtesy.
You tell me what you know, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that you're tended to and cared for. But we have to take you back to the captain. That being said, you lied to me, I will know. And every little bit, every single ounce of kindness in my heart will dry up, and the cruelty that is left behind will make a daemonet blanch. We clear?
Roll me an intimidate check.
If I can assist, Remsar will be behind him as a scary looking ogre himself, and just like nodding.
So, absolutely. So what you can do, Billy, the way assisting works in this is you roll a regular D10 and tell me what you get.
8.
8. So the way this works is your D10 roll can substitute in for Pope's 10s roll. So if you had rolled, if like you rolled a 2 and Pope rolled a 58, he could turn it into a 28. Unfortunately, an 8 would bump it to an 80. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
not good.
31 under 64.
31 under. I catch your meaning there. I do. He also is going to. I'm really quickly going to roll for him. Yeah. Okay. You see his eyes flick over to Gisela. Particularly noting the pack of papers that you took off the captain. And he looks back at Eldar and says, all right, tell me what you want to know. I'm assuming you don't want to know about supply troubles and digging the trains.
Not really. What I want to know is the disposition of your forces this far south. How many of y'all are in the local village? Why are you this far down south?
Well, we stayed after Stalbrook. We moved up north to up near a town named Breck. We've been staying there for a couple weeks, and we're getting ready to move out. My group was a scouting group to try to figure out where you Sigmarites were hanging out. Honestly, didn't expect to find any of y'all until a little bit later. Kind of surprised some of you were even here. We'd heard most of you had moved back out west. But, yeah, he kind of looks at Eldar again, kind of nervously, and then our main force is getting ready to move west and engage, moving towards to Battenheim. There's a joining force coming down from up north. Lady Cressida of Middenheim is setting forces down. There's going to be a hammer blow falling probably in about late summer. Going to try to wipe the west clean of forces so that we can lay siege to the capital city.
Makes sense.
I'd say 4 to 5 weeks before everyone gets in place.
How long till your friend brings people back here?
Yeah. I don't know if he's coming back. Yotes was not the most courageous type.
Oh,
My guess is he kind of looks off. You go 200-300 yards in that direction, you'll find a discarded uniform.
I trust you. Now, we're going to go into town. You don't cause us any trouble and there are no surprises. We might cut you loose then. Otherwise, we're going to be having a long walk today.
He's like kind of hikes up his arm a little bit and is like, I think I can move with you. I don't think I'm gonna be any trouble. He's like, he looks down like, I don't think I could cause any trouble if I tried.
You'd be surprised. Now, I'm just gonna tear some fabric
Mm-hmm.
from one of the other folks' uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, can you make sure I don't screw this up and try and make him a sling?
Sure, I'll assist on that. Or did you want me to do it?
You'd be better at it, but I'm fine with you just directing my tender mercies.
Jacob, the eyes like flick towards Gisela very nervously as you approach.
Don't worry, you're able to stand and breathe. She won't smash your head in unless you do anything stupid.
Oh, yeah. I'll keep that one in mind as he looks over at Gisela.
Do you have any training in this at all?
None whatsoever. You know
Okay.
what I took? I took interrogation instead.
Delightful. I'm going to take the cloth and go ahead and bandage him up. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right.
Okay.
All right, roll me that heal check.
38.
38. Under what?
Under 56.
Nice. As you do this, you can tell this guy has a broken right collarbone. He's not going to be fighting anybody probably ever again, unless he gets some unless he gets some very particular medical attention. That's not going to heal correctly. So this guy's career as a soldier is probably over, unless he gets like very precise medical treatment.
Or he would be headed towards the town anyway. We might as well make sure that he gets there in peace.
And he kind of like has the sling, and he looks like, that's appreciated.
What size approximately was the guy who ran off?
Like the size of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like little on the smaller side, a little lanky. Probably about like 5'6" with like a little bit, looks a little underfed type.
His clothes will fit none of us. I'm not going to go look for them.
No.
I would like to do the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I shot this particular individual off a horse, which is a war horse, and was probably trained against certain artillery exploding, so they're probably not that far away.
Roll me a very quick. Well, okay, I'm gonna say number one.
Because-
finding the horse isn't hard.
Yeah.
The horse did not go very far because, the shot didn't bother it very much, and you hit the rider with a.
I hit the rider with a repeating
with a
crossbow.
crossbow, yeah.
So they were
So-
trained for their own line of firing rifles, so I'm assuming that they weren't
Yeah,
going to
this-
spook that
this-
far.
So, the horse is very well trained and is still very close by.
Cool. She's going to turn, Remsa! We're going to get a horse.
Remsaw accepts that.
Do you know how to do that?
Remsaw shakes his head.
I can ride a horse and a donkey and a mule and a lot of things. It's real important when you're drawing, like, trailing artillery guns. Sometimes you actually have to ride the horse to guide the big frickin' brass things behind you. Or cast iron, depending on what you're doing. Although cast iron's slightly nicer. More people want to use brass because it looks prettier, but cast iron's better. It doesn't explode on itself quite as much.
In the midst of her explaining this, once she said she's going to get the horse, I'm going to go ahead and start bundling up the mortuary swords because I figure the captain might like those. And then we can pack them on the horse so that I don't have to carry them.
Yeah, I was gonna say the encumbrance would become a thing if you were carrying all these weapons, but the horse would help with that.
No,
Oh my God,
I'm going to
Cat,
carry
like-
the brace of hand cannons.
Yeah.
Yes,
There's
yes.
two of them.
I will
The
find.
hand cannons are 2 encumbrance each.
I am very sturdy,
Yeah.
and I'm not carrying much for reasons.
And the larger repeating gun is going to be 3 encumbrance.
Yeah, the larger repeating gun is 3 encumbrance. You gave me all
And
the
there's
stats.
2 of those, and
There's 2 of those.
we're going to definitely bundle down the horse should you get the horse.
Yeah, and mortuary swords are where are they?
They're not that big.
They're one encumbrance each. So yeah.
So-
But that should be easy enough to attach to the horse once.
Yeah,
that-
that'll be
Bundle.
easy enough to bundle together and put on the horse.
So, do I have to roll to find the horse?
To bring the horse along, roll me a animal handling plus 30 because this is a very well trained horse. This is more to just see how the initial relationship between Nethra and the horse gets off too.
Animal handling? Which one's that under?
Handle animal.
Handle animal, sorry.
There we go.
Under
Oh,
fellowship.
fellowship.
Yep.
Not ride. Oh well, that makes sense.
Got my systems mixed up.
So that's a 22 under 46.
Oh, Nethra on this horse are the fastest of friends. As
A little bit of apple. Got that.
yeah.
It's like she's like sneaking up, gives the apple to the horse, and then oddly for someone of her size, and I'm assuming this is like a war horse, right? So is it Dustier?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like so she's 5'2". This horse is like 16 hands, right?
Yeah.
There's this moment of like swinging, and then swinging herself up where her feet are just like not on the ground as she's swinging from the pommel. And then she's going to turn around and look at Remsaw as like probably as close to eye level with Remsaw as she will ever be. It's like, I am now tall.
Remsaw accepts that.
Jacob
Yes.
just looking on, being like, "That's why I don't like horses."
Because they make dwarves tall.
No.
Because they're very intelligent, very cute, intelligent beings who will totally kick your knee out and then possibly crush other things of yours.
That's fair enough. I guess it's making its way the same I am. All right.
She's like, and you're so sweet. I don't know what your crazy, stupid person who had you before is, but your name... We'll have to find an appropriate name. Gisela, we have to find an appropriate name for the horse.
All right, we'll start thinking on it.
Just the horse throws its head.
Shh, it's okay. It's okay.
All right.
Remind me with the system. Does Sigmar have any saints yet?
Sigmar can have many saints at this point. You may make one up if you wish.
I feel like that's an amazing idea. It should definitely be named after a saint of Sigmar.
Is this a mare? Is this a stallion?
Is this a
Gelding.
gelding?
Gelding?
Probably a gelding, considering it's well trained enough.
It is a gelding.
Okay.
I just rolled a percentage dice. Yeah, there we go.
Saint Robin. If I remember correctly.
I think Robin's a good name.
Mm.
Had to be said.
Nethra starts whistling a song. That's very off color, but appropriate and perhaps mildly blasphemous. But hey, she doesn't really care.
Aldar doesn't know the words to this tune, so it's just the the chorus. When it kicks in, he'll sing off key and loudly. As we make our way into town, we have acquisitions to make.
It's not much terribly further to town. It's maybe another hour's worth of walk. The prisoner walks along with you a bit gingerly. Clearly, walking is painful for this individual. Nethra, the horse, is wonderful. Well trained. Riding is an absolute joy. And you were provided a very nice, like high up view on everything as you begin to move into Hardenset. And this village is home to maybe 70 souls total. It is a very small village. You can see when you're moving in one building made of stone that is above 1 story in the entire village. Everything else appears to be largely wood and thatch. You can see people have noticed a rider with a group coming, and you can see that the movement in the town is kind of slow to a stop, and people are kind of starting gathering, looking in your general direction as you all approach.
Aldar, have you finished with the list?
Oh yeah, no. Let's just sell it though. Now that we have, just let me make one small alteration. Cart is going to turn into carriage because we have a warhorse.
I'm not sure the. Okay, do you want to just go ahead and divide up the list, and we can find things easier?
Sure. Besides, I need to get a goat. 2 goats.
You going to divide up the money the captain gave you too?
Sure. No, by all means. Here's 7 of the silver that the captain gave me. I will hold on to the other acquisitions.
I mean, that sounds like more of it than I was expecting. I figured we'd divvy it up equally, but okay.
People love my charming disposition.
Well, I'm not going to argue with someone handing me money.
Don't worry, lass.
I and Remsaw are going to stay right here with this horse, watching the crowd.
And the
Well,
prisoner.
And the prisoner.
As you guys are like approaching the outskirts of town, you can see the group outside has grown to a little over a dozen people are now standing kind of nervously. And one individual walks forward in robes, approaching Nethra, who's riding the horse. And robes loosely gathered at the waist with like kind of a rope belt sort of look. These robes were likely kind of like white and yellowish at one point. They've dimmed to like a dull brown at this point. And the woman with kind of like straw blonde hair kind of says, excuse me, and looking at Nethra, lady, what are, looking at the band, seeing like heavily armed individuals and just saying, may I inquire on your intentions for your visit to our small village?
Shopping and money spending. And there's got that. And she points to both Aldar and Gisela. It's like, bring an economy boost and good cheer. And she kind of like smiles.
You can see a visible relaxation. And the woman looks over at Gisela and sees, I'm assuming you're wearing some iconography of Sigmar, like the twin-tailed comet or his...
Yeah, giant comet emblazoned across my chest.
There's another sigh as she makes like the sign of the hammer, and she says, all good sons and daughters of Sigmar and all of his children are welcome here.
Wonderful. Could you, we were sent by the Abbey up the road.
Yes, Reverend Sister Anya
Thank you.
needs some supplies.
Where I believe I'm going to need to find someone with healing supplies, and our dwarven
Reverend-
friend over there is probably looking for a general store.
I'm sorry, what did you say the name of the abbey was?
I don't know the name of the abbey, but it was Reverend Sister Anya.
Yes.
Huh.
That's
always-
a disconcerting, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just knew Reverend Sister Schiff. Though I heard she had passed away about a month ago, so perhaps she has received a replacement.
Do you know of Sister Wiseman?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, again,
Terribly sorry. You had
Directions to the stores.
yes, of course. Well, you said you had a list from the Reverend Sister looking for supplies.
man, like the multiple pages. Yes.
Well, Geskin is the local wise woman. She will be happy to direct. She will be happy to help you find the proper herbs and medical supplies needed. Beyond that, what were you hoping to find here?
Goats, small carriage or cart, rope, apples,
You can see like people in
Wine.
the crowd are drifting away at this point. Like yes,
oats,
well,
honey.
like indicates so the town again, the village is very small. You can see the you are now like a little bit, you are now close enough to see that the 2-story building is a very squat, like stone base, wooden upper floor, and it simply is labeled as inn. And it is like a minor travel house, basically. The rest of the town appears to be very much built around travel and trade. The main trade appears to be dealing in wood and woodworking, as the Drakewald forest is not very far from here. Actually, you guys can see like off in the distance the edge. There's always some amount of forest, but the Drakewald is an absolutely massive forest that you are on basically existing on the outskirts of. And the priestess in the town just kind of nods and says, "Yes. Well, Ludolf has they maintain a few carts in the woodworking shop. They create wheels and carts. They might have something that you can use there. As it comes to goats, this is the one thing this town is very wealthy in.
Good. We need some goats.
We will be able to provide you with goats for the right price, of course. I don't
Of course.
speak for the merchants. And says, but please, who I will be happy to show you the way to wherever you wish to go.
Gisela here is the one that has the most pressing stuff. Mine stuff, well, necessary, is more for the general good of the abbey, while the medical supplies are far more pressing issue.
I don't really see a reason for both of us to go to both places. We're trying to get back before dark if possible. So if you could just point me in the direction of the I believe we were the wise lady who's going to help me. with
Geskin,
herbs.
she lives over this way. She like points and you can see like you go 2 houses down, you turn in, there's like a little alleyway, and then you take a right at the goat pen, a left, and then you know you've gone too far if she like continues to go on. Or I could just show you.
Okay.
And looks
that's
at
fine.
Aldar and goes,
I figured you were going to
the
need to show
woodworking
Aldar,
shop
but
is just past the chapel.
Got it.
Yeah. And she looks back and goes, your friend back there appears to be injured. As you see Jacob just kind of like, I'm fine.
I believe he is,
rough,
but I'm sure we'll take him back to the Abbey with us.
rough trouble. Part of the reason we need supplies.
Fair enough. So, all right. So, Kristen, the priestess, will lead Gisela in the general direction of the wise woman. Who is going to the wise woman, and who is going to the woodworking shop? Or are we doing one and one, and then I think Nethra wanted to stay with the horse, is what I remember.
Horse and prisoner.
Nethra's staying with the horse and prisoner, and partially to just stay with the horse and prisoner because she understands how that goes, but also because she's kind of gauging this town, and Remsaw is a new factor.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gauging both how the town reacts to Remsaw and how Remsaw reacts to the town.
Okay.
And things that have just happened. So she's like, yeah, I'll be chill here. I'm gonna sit here. You know, she's kind of like gonna do that, like, ride close to the center of town where she can get some, like, water for the horse and baby it. Because that's what she's gonna do. She's gonna baby this horse.
We will come back to Nethra and Remsaw then in a moment. I'm going to cut to first Aldar. We'll do Aldar, we'll do Nethra and Remsaw, and then we'll do Gisela.
I have been left unsupervised.
Yes, you have.
Plausible deniability for everybody.
So, Eldar, you've been given the general directions as Gisela and the priestess go left into the town. You have been told to go right. You see a small chapel of the Imperial Pantheon with a hammer of Sigmar prominently displayed out front. The twin-tailed comet of Sigmar prominently displayed out front. And just beyond it, you can see very clearly a large, partially open air, partially like covered woodworking shop.
All right. Well, we'll go up and make friends.
As you approach, in, there are several people in the open air part, as it's a really hot day. Many of them like thrown up like some temporary sun covers to like shade the work area, but it's hot. They are hard at work. They're looking tired. They're looking sweaty. They are getting towards the end of their work day, and someone just kind of looks up and goes, "Can I help you, friend?"
Yes. I'm looking to spend coin on a cart or carriage.
Ludolf, somebody's here looking to spend coin. And an individual comes out, heartily built, short cut black hair, kind of like caramel cappuccino skin, walks out, very fine features, a little hard to pin down as they walk forward and they say, yes, how can I help you?
I'm looking to buy a cart or carriage.
Oh, carriages are a little, let's be clear, I've repaired carriages before that have come through, but making them, there's not much of a demand for those here. I can get you a good sized cart though.
Good size is good. One that can handle the tack for a large horse.
A single cart horse?
Yeah.
I think I can help you out there. We have a few that are done and looking for a home. Eyes you up and down. The soldier?
Yes.
They don't pay soldiers enough for carts.
I don't think you understand how old I am, friend, and how thrifty I am.
Like you. Come on, let's go take a look. And they turn around and kind of lead you in. So kind of like gives you a little bit of like the car salesman pitch on it, just being like, some really fine wheels here. The axle made from one of like describing the work done on the axle. Really like the getting the whole thing. The undercarriage has been treated like beet juice. It's the new thing.
Does it look sturdy enough and can it haul? That's the only thing.
Roll me a scrutinize check.
All right. We're rolling 8 multiple times today, so that's 8 under a 49.
This is a really well-made cart. This thing is. You've seen some real like shit thrown together carts in your time in like quartermastering and stuff like that. This thing's pretty solid. This thing is gonna last.
How much?
Oh, I mean, I would need at least probably 8-9 silver pieces.
You got some horse tack I could also use?
That would bring you up to around 9.
I've got like gold burning a hole in my pocket. Make me an offer, then I can give you the gold crumb.
Oh, wow. I read you wrong there, soldier boy. I was ready to offer you a deal for a discount. Tack, cart. Can throw in a few extra supplies if you need. Spare wheel. But seriously, you're out from the Abbey, right?
I
In the chapel. You got 2 folk hurt. They're not from around here. They got hurt in we'll call it recent events. A little beyond our skill to help with. Any chance you'd be able to throw them in the back of that cart and take them back to the Abbey?
let me take a look at them.
Well, that's the thing. If you would just be so kind as to not take too close at a look at, like, say, what they're wearing, if you understand our meaning. We're not trying to get involved or anything. We're just trying to help some people out.
Spare wheel and some tools for changing. And I'll make sure your concerns are alleviated.
You got it.
All right, here's a gold coin. Flicks the coin.
We'll get the cart out in front ready for you in a few minutes.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to flip gears to Nethra and Remsaw. As you have pulled in, and there is a little, like, there's a well in the center of town that you're able to pull up a bucket of water and give water to your horse.
Yeah, she's going to water the horse, and then she's going to turn to Remsaw and say, "Have you ever cared for a horse before?" Okay, so the first thing you got to do is you got to treat it really good, because they're very intelligent, very smart animals, and they will take care of you very much. And she's like going through this whole thing, and she's going to strip the tack off this animal and like scrub it down and brush it down. It's like, there's some water here. It just was in a battle. Plus a hot March. It's summer.
As you're doing that, Remsaw drinks the water from the bucket of water that you had.
She fully expected that to happen. She's also like not paying it, she's intentionally not paying attention to that, like giving the impression that she's not watching you, but is like, "Oh, and you might want to wash some of that off."
Like, what? His what? Like his facial reaction was what?
The blood will start eating through the leather if it stays on there too long.
He understands, doesn't care.
It's expensive to replace, so they won't
He starts
replace it for you.
chugging the water again.
But she'll start caring for the horse, and then she'll also like keep an eye out around the town of like, what's the general vibe? Like, is it, because I figure they're a town kind of stuck in between a civil war and just had a battlefield at the front. Are they feeling threatened, or like, is this business
There's
as
definitely
usual?
tension. Like there was some severe concern when you were approaching. People seem a little bit relieved, but they're giving you and Remsaw a fair amount of space at the moment.
But are they going about like their general business, even if they're staring at us while they do so?
There's a lot of side eye happening, but they seem to be like acting very casual as they go along, and like kind of going about their daily business while like also maybe walking by maybe one too many times just to like kind of keep an eye on you.
Yeah, she's not gonna let that happen. She's not gonna let that worry her. She's also gonna pull up some water and like hand it to Jacob, the prisoner. It's like, you could use this. Also, you smell.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate the water. The insult to my hygiene, I guess that's part of the situation.
Look, I hang out around guns that go boom a lot, and if I tell you you smell, that means that you've done something bad enough that I can smell you over the amount of gunpowder that's burned through my nostrils.
I suppose that's fair. Could just be this town.
Nope, I smell the shit over there. That's not you. It's also summer. It's gonna smell even worse.
Yeah.
And she's just gonna like continue babying, like keeping an eye on the general vibe, keeping an eye on Remsaw, keeping an eye on everything, and just being like, yeah, everything's fine. We're good. Everything's fabulous.
Remsaw, like, all of the sudden, there's just like a 7-year-old boy like standing within like a foot of you, looking up at you, and is like, "You're really big."
He'll like side eye, like the way you do around children that just don't know social etiquette. Then he'll take the rest of his, like, it's like a half full bucket right now after his chugging. Hand it to the child and just go, drink.
Kid like, and like just. Thanks.
I'll take the bucket back and then start drinking it.
Kid just like looks at you and like, could you do that again?
He'll fill up the bucket again and then like hand it to the kid, like pushing it into his chest. Drank.
Yeah, and like just drenches himself.
Oh, yeah, Tom, you work with children.
Yeah,
you got this down.
Yeah.
And then he'll let the kid have a good time.
Yeah. All right. Switching over, unless there was something else that like 4 or 5 buckets in is like, all right, I'm good. I should probably go dry off. Like
happening in real life right now in some part of the world.
Yeah. You are led past 2 houses down the side alley, and you find a small hut on the edge of town where you are indicated that Geskin, the wise woman, lives. There is a few things that perk your interest, namely, like there are a few small animal skulls displayed prominently on sticks around the house. You recognize folk warding symbols when you notice them. Very minor heresies, very within the tolerance levels given for local cultures and things like that. Very much within the realm of like is mostly overlooked.
I mean, I'm not a witch hunter. That's not what I'm here for.
Exactly.
So.
as you can see the priestess coming with you, like looks at them and that like, oh, I forgot about those, and looks at you like, oh, is this going to be a thing? Kind of moment.
Gisel's just gonna like keep going. She's gonna like straight up not acknowledge that they're there and kind of like it's not worth us discussing it because it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. You walk in and there is a very elderly lady kind of sitting in the middle of like an open space. It is a one-room hut with a cooking fire in the center, like the hole in the top sort of deal. As she looks up and says, Kristen, that was wonderful to see you. And then like looks at the large armored woman coming with her in Sigmarite and goes, how can I help you?
I was told you'd be able to help me find some herbs and medical supplies.
Very likely, yes.
That's what I'm here for.
Wonderful to hear. What can I help you find?
Well, we're from the Abbey up the road, and I'm assuming you know there was a large battle recently.
Yes, we had some word of that.
Great. So we're a little bit low on all the basics. Some smelling salts, bandages, laudanum, opium, anything like that you have. They also gave me a list of a couple of things I hadn't heard of. I was hoping maybe you would know of them.
She holds out her hand, like
I hand her the list.
she looks at the lists, and it's just one of those. She looks. Does the Abbey have a rat problem?
Does the Abbey have a rat problem?
I'm asking you.
No, Tom, I'm asking the GM.
Not that you're aware of.
I don't think so.
Then I don't much think I'll be giving you any of these, as I very much don't want to assist you in the murder of anyone.
I'm sorry, what?
These are all deeply poisonous plants.
I'm aware that several of them had poisonous properties, but sometimes poisons have healing properties as well. Do these
Absolutely.
not?
Some of these have in extraordinarily small doses, but the amounts that she wants here are enough to kill over a dozen people.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's
Frankly, if you've got a rat
Explain.
problem, I can recommend better things for than this.
no.
Water lilies or I'm sorry, water carrots are incredibly dangerous.
I appreciate your assistance. That's probably why I hadn't heard of them. I will let her know they are unavailable. If you could help me with the other items,
Well, I can help you a bit. Laudanum is not particularly difficult to come by. Opium is significantly more difficult and more expensive. So run through what you wanted again.
smelling salts, bandages, but if she doesn't have bandages, I'll take the stuff to make bandages. Laudanum and opium.
She has 2 sets of smelling salts. She has enough to make 5 clean bandages.
8, but she doesn't currently
yeah.
have bandages. Okay.
And then she has 3 individual things of laudanum.
Okay.
And then she has 1 thing of opium. Yep, we'll hold off. I just saw it on my screen.